Holy crap, guys, the handcuffs are finally coming out. And suddenly a whole lot of people who spent years acting like they're above the law.
Stop scrolling right now. You are looking at the exact moment a billion-dollar fraudster thought he got away until the FBI dragged him off a plane in cuffs. But what happens next is terrifying.
Is live officially on the FBI website. I want all Americans to take a look at these most wanted individuals and look at the amounts, the tens of millions and billions of dollars in fraud that they have decimated. Literally tens of millions of dollars that was supposed to go to kids was stolen, allegedly, by individuals who worked in government and the private sector and thought they could fleece Americans. The fraudsters have created programs overseas. The FBI has led that charge against scam center compounds stood up in Southeast Asia and the Middle East, freeing thousands of trafficked workers. Just in the last year under the Trump Advance administration and the fraud initiative, we have captured and freed $8 billion in fraud in scam centers that were stood up by the CCP and other adversaries in places like Thailand, Laos, and Cambodia.
Wait, did you catch that? Listen to the sheer scale of what's being unraveled here. We aren't talking about a few thousands of dollars missing from a local budget. We are looking at a highly coordinated $8 billion operation tied directly to the CCP and shadowy scam centers operating out of Southeast Asia. You really have to stop and think about how wild it is that American taxpayer money, specifically from programs designed to protect our most vulnerable seniors, ended up funding illicit compounds halfway across the globe. It's totally, completely insane when you break down the logistics of it. This isn't just someone cooking the books. This is an international heist on a scale that makes Hollywood movies look like child's play. Look at the absolute confidence on the podium right now. When the FBI pivots from just tracking domestic petty crimes to dropping the hammer on international billion-dollar operations, it sends a massive shockwave. Everyone who thought hiding on an island made them invincible is suddenly realizing that accountability just bought a plane ticket. Seriously, imagine being the politicians who completely missed this. Look closely at the background details here. This isn't some mastermind supervillain lair. It's a tropical island thousands of miles away where a guy allegedly thought he had outsmarted the entire United States government. He racked up over $1 billion in fake medical charges and just assumed he could sip drinks on the beach forever. You have to wonder how long this actually went on before anyone even noticed the red flags. Millions of ordinary folks are struggling to pay for basic groceries and putting gas in their cars, while this scheme siphoned off wealth like a massive vacuum cleaner. It completely shatters the illusion that the system is closely monitored. The crazy part is that he didn't even use some highly sophisticated, uncrackable code. He used offshore call centers and sham medical equipment operations. It's essentially a brute force attack on a bloated bureaucracy that was clearly asleep at the wheel. Seeing the end of the line for him in the Philippines is satisfying, but it forces a deeply uncomfortable question. How many others are still out there doing the exact same thing undetected? Okay, you honestly cannot write a script crazier than this. While the FBI is busy chasing down international billionaires and exposing billions in fraud, we've got high-profile political figures literally challenging each other to UFC cage matches on podcasts. Just take a second to process the sheer absurdity of the timeline we are living in. It feels like we accidentally flipped the channel from a serious documentary straight into a reality television crossover episode. The wildest part isn't even the challenge itself. It's the fact that millions of people are genuinely more invested in a potential pay-per-view fight than they are in tracking where their actual tax dollars are going. You really have to laugh, otherwise you'd go crazy. But underneath the comedy, there's a much darker truth. The political theater has gotten so loud and so ridiculous that it acts as the perfect smokescreen. While everyone is busy arguing over who would win in a hypothetical octagon brawl, the actual massive scandals, the ones draining wealth from working class families, quietly slip through the cracks. It's the ultimate distraction technique, and unfortunately, it works almost perfectly. Pay attention to the timing of all this. Whenever you see a flurry of legal pardons hitting the news cycle, you have to read between the lines. The narrative completely shifts overnight. It is genuinely fascinating to watch the political scrambling that happens when the clock starts running out. If nobody actually did anything wrong, why does everybody suddenly need blanket immunity? It's the exact kind of paradox that makes the average person totally lose faith in the justice system. We are essentially watching a completely separate tier of justice operating right out in the open. Imagine if you or I made a massive error on our taxes or broke a minor law. The book gets thrown at us instantly. But at this level of power, there's always an escape hatch built into the architecture. The optics are absolutely terrible, especially when paired with the massive fraud crackdowns happening simultaneously. It creates this bizarre split-screen reality for voters. On one side, the FBI is hunting down scammers, and on the other, the ultimate get-out-of-jail-free cards are being handed out. It completely undermines the entire concept of equal accountability.
Our society's from. We rely on you. Our best form of information is the American public. Take a look at this top 10 most wanted. Let us know any information. There is no bad piece of information. The only bad piece of information is the one you don't give us. So call 1-800-CALL-FBI or go to FBI.gov and help us apprehend more fraudsters. The last thing I want to talk about is the work of the FBI.
Did you catch the specific tone they are using here? They are literally pleading with the public for help, making it clear that they cannot untangle this massive web of corruption alone. It is a striking admission from one of the most powerful law enforcement agencies on the planet. They are flat out telling us that the fraud is so incredibly widespread that they need everyday citizens to act as the eyes and ears on the ground. Think about the massive volume of stolen funds they must be tracking to resort to a public broadcast like this. We aren't talking about stolen cars. We are talking about the systematic looting of taxpayer programs. When they put up these most wanted lists for white-collar criminals, it proves that the old methods of oversight have completely failed. The bureaucrats completely missed the heist while it was happening right under their noses. Now the burden shifts back to the public to report the suspicious activity. It's empowering in a way, but also deeply terrifying to realize just how vulnerable. The rules are changing fast. Hit subscribe if you want the truth behind the headlines, and I'll see you in the next breakdown.